Imagine this. You're driving down 400 on a Tuesday morning, minding your own business, coffee in hand, maybe even singing along with your favorite song on the radio. And out of nowhere, somebody slams into you, totals your car. You end up with a broken arm, a hospital bill, and then find out the person who hit you, they've got bare minimum insurance coverage. And suddenly, your $80,000 medical bill is staring down a $25,000 policy limit. This is a real scenario and it happens every single day in Georgia. And today I'm going to show you exactly how to make sure it doesn't wreck your finances along with your car. What's up, everybody? I'm Michael with INS. That's Ennoble Service, if you didn't know. And on this channel, we talk about insurance in a way that actually makes sense. No jargon, no confusion, no falling asleep. If this is your first time here, welcome. Please hit that like button because I drop new content every single week. So let's get into it. So here's what most people don't realize. When you get your car insurance, Georgia law requires other drivers to carry what's called minimum liability coverage. As of right now, that's $25,000 per person for bodily injury, meaning if they hurt you, the max their insurance pays you is $25,000. Y'all, a single night in the ICU can run you $10,000 to $30,000. One surgery, one ambulance ride. We're already at or past the limit of what the person who caused the accident is required to carry. Now multiply that by a serious crash. Broken bones, surgery, physical therapy, lost wages because you missed 6 weeks of work in recovery, and $25,000 disappears faster than your willpower at a Chick-fil-A drive-thru. The minimum is not the right amount. It's just the legal amount, and there's a huge difference between the two. Now, here's where it gets really fun. And by fun, I mean slightly terrifying. Georgia consistently ranks among the states with the highest rates of uninsured drivers. We're talking somewhere around 1 in 8. That's, I think, roughly 12%. No insurance, zero, zilch. They're out here rolling the dice every day. And if they hit you, their insurance isn't going to pay anything because it doesn't even exist. And then you've got the untold amounts of people who are underinsured. I talk to these people every single day. They carry the bare minimum $25,000, which in today's healthcare environment is basically the same as being underinsured if the accident is anything more than just a little fender bender. So you've got double the problem. Drivers with nothing, drivers with not enough. And if you don't have the right coverage on your policy, you're the one holding the bag. I know we see these billboards all over the place for what these limits are, but I assure you, they aren't getting those from the insurance company if the limits aren't there in the first place. Now, they can sue the person, but the insurance is only going to pay out as much as the policy is for. So what is UIM coverage? This is where uninsured and underinsured motorist coverage comes in. UM or UIM for short. Basically, UM coverage means that your car insurance company steps in to pay for your injuries and damages when the at-fault driver has no insurance. Underinsured or UIM does the exact same thing if the person doesn't have enough insurance. So think of it like this. It's coverage that protects you when somebody else drops the ball. You can't control what coverage other drivers have, but what you can control, is what you actually carry. And that's powerful. So there's two different types of UIM, okay? All right, so here's the part I really want you to pay attention to because this is where most people get confused, or worse, they never even know that there's a choice. In Georgia, there are two types of uninsured motorist coverage. They both work the same way for uninsured totally, but underinsured is where the difference comes in. So option one is called reduced by. This is the default option. And this is how it works. If the at-fault driver has $25,000 of coverage, for example, they have the minimum liability, and you have $100,000 of uninsured or underinsured motorist liability coverage, your coverage will not pay $100,000 on top of their 25. Instead, their 25 counts towards your 100, meaning that you would net potentially $75,000 if the situation warranted. So their coverage reduces, or why it's called reduced by, reduces your coverage of what your underinsured motorist will pay. Option two is the one that I want you to have. It's the one that I have. With add-on, you get the at-fault driver's liability, plus you get your underinsured motorist limits as well. So otherwise they stack. They add together. So if they've got $25,000 and you've got $100,000, you can get up to $125,000 working for you. And here's the wild part. Add-on typically only cost a few dollars more than reduced by. Sometimes it's as little as $5 or $15. It used to be just a few cents. It was incredible. For better coverage, this is one of those rare situations in life where the upgrade is truly cheap. Unlike upgrading your seat on a Delta, here's my recommendation, and this is where I want to be very straight with you. Don't just get add-on UM, get higher limits of add-on UM. You can only buy as much as you have liability limits for somebody else. But so that means if your policy has 100,000, 300,000 bodily injury liability for other people, you ought to have at least that much for yourself and make sure that it's add-on. That way you're getting the most possible coverage for you in the event that somebody is irresponsible. You get that coverage for you. That's the safety net. The higher the limit, the bigger the net. I've seen people walk away from serious accidents financially devastated, not because they were uninsured or they had done anything wrong, but they just didn't have enough UM coverage, and the people that hit them didn't have anything that they could sue for. So don't be this person. If you've got assets, a home, savings, a business, and you don't have high UM limits, you are leaving all that exposed because of somebody else. Higher UM limits are one of the most cost-effective ways to protect everything that you've worked for. And if you're a person of faith like I am, you understand the principle of stewardship. Taking care of what God has entrusted to you, which is your family, your finances, your future, that means not cutting the corners on coverage that protects it. So to recap, Georgia's roads are full of uninsured and underinsured drivers. Minimum limits are not enough. Choosing add-on UM coverage by over-reduced by could be the difference between recovering fully and being stuck with a mountain of bills through no fault of your own. If you're in Georgia and want to take a look at your current policy to see what you've got, or if you've got questions about whether you're actually protected, drop a comment below, hit the link in my bio to connect with me directly. I'm Michael with INS, and I want to help you make sure that when life throws something at you, and it will, you're covered. Not just legally, but actually covered. I'll see you in the next one. In service, always.